Yo, YouTube, what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Q back at y'all with another video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, man. Y'all know the vibes, man. Y'all know the vibes. We got to talk about the Sixers, man. The 76ers situation, man, is looking pretty dire right now. Joel Embiid is set to miss tonight's game. Apparently, with he had an appendix. He had an appendix surgery or something like that. And I just wanted to get on here and just talk about the whole Joel Embiid and 76ers process experience, man. You know, 76ers, I believe the 76ers were like one of the first teams to ever make tanking cool. You know what I mean? Back when I was in high school, man, we just knew the 76ers for being a tanking organization, um, trying to get as many draft picks as they needed to in order to, win championships and stuff like that. And you know, none of that stuff really came to fruition, honestly. Uh, if you go back and look at a lot of the draft picks that the Sixers have, a lot of these guys never really panned out to be much of anything in the league, man. Um, Going back to Evan Turner, uh, Michael Carter Williams, Drew Holiday, but they traded him away. Who else? Jaleel Okafor, Ben Simmons, Markel Fultz, you name them, man. These dudes were trying to rack up as many draft picks as they could to make a push, man. And it seems like it just backfired in their face, man. The basketball gods don't reward tanking. And this is the reason why when a lot of fans and other people are saying, oh, the NBA need to ban tanking and this, and that. Me personally, honestly speaking, I just feel like if you watch the games and you know basketball, you know what team is good and what team is not good. I mean, let's think about this for a second, right? The Indiana Pacers lost Tyrese Halliburton. I'm pretty sure every NBA fan knew that they weren't going to be as good as they were before. The Washington Wizards, man, they traded for Trae Young. They traded for Anthony Davis, knowing that these two weren't going to play this season. Tanking. I just feel like tanking only becomes an issue when people are blatantly doing it. If you're just naturally a bad team, it's just gonna show. I mean, you can't really name like six players on the Washington Wizards right now, to be honest with you. Minus Trey Young and AD. You can't really name players on that team for real. So it's like the 76ers, man, I think they just had a couple of bad breaks. Going back to when the Raptors won that championship against the Golden State Warriors, and it was Game 7, and Kawhi made that crazy shot.
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger? Game! Series!
You can't really prepare for that. Ben Simmons, folding in the playoffs against the Hawks, and then later on wanting out. You can't really make this stuff up, man. James Harden coming to Philly, but it's not working out. Um, Markel Fultz forgetting how to shoot a basketball. Joel Embiid, who was, surprisingly one of the best draft picks out of all of that, was the best draft pick out of all of those picks. Had an extensive injury history, coming out of college, and that was like the knock on him, for real, for real. And it just so happens that out of all the good draft picks, he had to be the one that was good. But unfortunately, he just can't stay healthy. He's just never available. And, you know, there's that. I mean, if you look at Joel Embiid's, availability and his injury history and all that, you could be sitting here for hours talking about his injury history. But his availability is not reliable. It's actually kind of Zion Williamson type of availability, which is bad. Joel Embiid didn't really do himself any favors. In the beginning of his career, there's like footage of him eating McDonald's and stuff like that before games. not really taking care of his body like he should have been. You know what I'm saying? You know, to maintain a good bill of health to be able to help the Sixers win championships, man. But the 76ers, I feel like they did the best they could, and they to put pieces around Joel Embiid in order to help him win a championship. Like I said, they got James Harden at one point, Paul George and Tyrese Maxey now, um, but it just comes down to one guy, man, and that's Joel Embiid. You know, when he's on the floor, he's one of the best players in the NBA, no doubt about it. You know what I mean? Former MVP, all that good stuff. But he's never on the floor. He's never available, man. Even when I believe, even when he won the MVP that year, he didn't play 70 games. I think he played like 66 games that year. So availability has always been an issue for Joel Embiid, man. And if it continues to be an issue for Joel Embiid, the Sixers will never win a championship like this. You know, I don't really necessarily know what direction they should go. You know, this offseason if they do get booted out of the playoffs, which I think is very very possible. You know, tonight, against the Orlando Magic, we'll see what happens. But I just don't see the 76ers going very very far without Joel Embiid on the floor, man. I just don't see it happening, man. Even 80% healthy Joel Embiid is good enough. Could be good enough to help these guys win something. But without Joel Embiid on the floor, man, I don't think Tyrese Maxey is going to be able to do it all on his own. I just don't see it happening. I mean, even if they do beat the Orlando Magic, you know what I mean, and they do figure out a way to squeak into the playoffs somehow, some way, I think they're a one and done team, man. Without Joel Embiid on there on the floor, they traded Jared McCain away. I don't even know for what, honestly. They traded him away. Um, they got a couple of pieces. VJ Edgecombe is working out for them quite nicely. I like the way he plays the game, with the intensity that he plays the game with. He kind of reminds me of Jimmy Butler a little bit, but he's still relatively a young player, man. So we'll just have to see what happens with the 76ers, man. But I think all in all, man, I speak for a lot of I speak for a lot of 76ers fans when I say this, man. Ultimately, the process is a flop. I think the process is a flop. I think it's a failed experiment. I think that the Philadelphia 76ers got to pivot. They got to pivot. They got to figure something else out, man, because they had Jimmy Butler and they traded Jimmy Butler away. Or they let Jimmy Butler walk and paid Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris isn't on the team anymore. It's not even just about the draft picks. It's also just about how bad the 76ers are at making decisions sometimes, Signing Paul George to a $200 million contract. Now, granted, Paul George has been playing a lot better lately, man, but he's not worth that money. You know what I mean? It's those little decisions right there that can make or break a franchise, man. And those decisions have been breaking Philadelphia for a long time. You know what I mean? Um, I would say the Philadelphia Eagles should I said Eagles, the Sixers should trade Joel Embiid, but it's like with his injury history and his lack of availability and people have teams are gonna have to manage his playing time and how many games he plays, his back to backs. I just don't see any team being willing to carry that hassle, man, to carry that that weight of a player like Joel Embiid, the money that he's getting paid right now, and he's never available to play basketball. I just don't think it's smart, man, and I think that's a lot of the reasons why teams are staying away from guys like Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero is a good player. You know what I mean? Not a great player, but a good player, but never available. You know what I mean? Injured in the biggest games, and when he does play in the biggest games, he doesn't show up. You know what I mean? Joel Embiid is a different story when it comes to that, though. However, Joel Embiid does show up, in the playoffs, and he does play good ball in the playoffs, but he's never available for the playoffs. And without your best player on the floor, man, you're not gonna win nothing. With Boston, Pistons are on a rise. The Knicks, the Hawks, This Eastern Conference is not like what it used to be when LeBron was running the show. It's just not. It's a tougher conference now. It's a tougher conference, man. And if your best player ain't on the floor, man, 9 times out of 10, you have no shot. So I think the 76ers, they had an okay season this year, but I think ultimately, man, even if they do beat the Orlando Magic, man, I look at them as a one-and-done team in the playoffs, man. I just do not see them getting very far. I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel, man. I think the process is done. I think that if the Sixers can move Joel Embiid, I would seriously advise them to do that. You know what I mean? Depending on what his value is looking like, man. But the 76ers got to do something else, man, because this shit right here ain't working, man. But y'all like, comment, share, subscribe. Y'all know the vibes, man. And I'm going to get up with y'all in the next video, man. Peace.